Picture this, the most powerful monarch in modern history sitting in Windsor Castle having tea with her most trusted confidant. What she's about to reveal will shatter everything you thought you knew about the royal family. These aren't rumors or speculation anymore. This is the late Queen Elizabeth II herself exposing the shocking truth about Meghan Markle from beyond the grave. And before we dive into these explosive revelations that just broke yesterday, make sure you hit that subscribe button because what you're about to hear will change how you see the royal family forever. For 7 long years, the Sussex squad has attacked anyone who dared question Meghan Markle. They called us conspiracists. They screamed racism at every criticism. They insisted the Queen adored Meghan and that all the negative stories were lies from jealous palace insiders. Well, guess what? The receipts just dropped and they're more devastating than anyone could have imagined. Lady Elizabeth Anson wasn't just some distant royal cousin. She was the Queen's deepest confidant, her most trusted friend, the one person on earth who knew Her Majesty's true thoughts. They spoke on the phone multiple times a week. They finished each other's sentences. Lady Elizabeth called the Queen by her secret nickname Jemima, and the Queen called her the #1 lady. When the Queen needed to unburden her soul about what was really happening with Harry and Meghan, she turned to one person, Lady Elizabeth Anson. And now, thanks to respected royal biographer Sally Bedell Smith publishing Lady Elizabeth's private notes on her Substack, we finally know the truth. The Queen didn't just dislike Meghan Markle, she was deeply worried about her. She questioned whether Meghan even loved Harry. And most shocking of all, Her Majesty believed, and these are the Queen's own words, that Meghan engineered it all. Let that sink in for a moment. The Queen of England thought Meghan Markle was a calculated operator who engineered her relationship with Harry. This isn't coming from some tabloid source or palace gossip. This is coming directly from the Queen's own mouth to her most trusted confidant. But the revelations get even more explosive. Just days before the wedding that captivated 2 billion viewers worldwide, Prince Harry did something so disrespectful it left the Queen heartbroken. During a phone call about the wedding plans, Harry was, quote, rude to her for 10 minutes. The Queen was so upset, she immediately called Lady Elizabeth to share her shock and sadness. Can you imagine the audacity? Here's a grandmother trying to connect with her grandson before his wedding day, and he berates her on the phone. But it gets worse. When the Queen simply asked Meghan about her wedding dress, a perfectly normal question from a grandmother Meghan refused to tell her. She literally withheld information about the dress from the Queen of England. Lady Elizabeth recorded the Queen's exact words. She was trying to find out about the wedding dress, and Meghan wouldn't tell her. The Queen wasn't trying to leak anything to the press. She just wanted to share in her grandson's special day. But Meghan treated her with such suspicion and disrespect it left the monarch dismayed. And here's where it gets really juicy. The Queen told Lady Elizabeth that Meghan and William and Kate were not working well together, but she specifically emphasized it was, quote, particularly about the 2 girls. So much for Meghan's claims that Kate made her cry. The Queen is herself confirmed that Kate and Meghan didn't get along from day one. But the most brutal assessment came when Lady Elizabeth summed up the Queen's true feelings about the couple. Harry is besotted and weak about women. We hope but don't quite think she is in love. We think she engineered it all. And then the devastating final blow. The problem, bless his heart, is that Harry is neither bright nor strong, and she is both. Think about what this means. The Queen saw through Meghan's act complete. She recognized that Harry was being manipulated by someone stronger and smarter than him. She watched helplessly as her beloved grandson fell under the spell of a woman who the Queen believed didn't even love him. The timing of these revelations is crucial. Lady Elizabeth made these notes in February 2019, less than a year after the wedding. By this point, the Queen had already seen enough to form these devastating opinions. And remember, this was before Megxit, before the Oprah interview, before all the public attacks on the royal family. The Queen saw what was coming because she saw who Meghan really was. What makes this even more heartbreaking is how the Queen tried to welcome Meghan. She broke royal protocol to include her. She invited Meghan on a solo engagement just weeks after the wedding, something she never did for Kate. She gave Meghan the prestigious Duchess of Sussex title. And how did Meghan repay this kindness? By engineering Harry's break from his family. Lady Elizabeth also revealed another shocking incident. Harry had asked the Archbishop of Canterbury to perform the wedding ceremony without getting permission from the Dean of Windsor first. This wasn't just a minor breach of protocol, it showed Harry's complete disrespect for royal traditions and hierarchy. The Queen told Lady Elizabeth that Harry seems to think the Queen can do what she wants, but she can't. Even more revealing is what happened when Lady Elizabeth tried to help with the wedding planning. As the Queen's official party planner who had organized countless royal events, she offered her expertise to Harry and Meghan. Their response: Harry wrote to her saying they were going another way. He claimed the Queen was content with this decision, but when Lady Elizabeth spoke to the Queen, Her Majesty said she is not at all content. The Queen felt completely left out of her grandson's wedding. The woman who had devoted her entire life to duty and family was being pushed aside by Meghan Markle, and Harry was either too weak or too blind to see what was happening. By late February 2019, things had gotten even worse. Lady Elizabeth told Sally Bedell Smith, "I don't trust Meghan an inch." She called Meghan a straightforward starlet used to public speaking and charity work. In other words, she saw Meghan as an actress playing a role, not a genuine member of the royal family. The Queen also worried about the growing wedge between Harry and William. She told Lady Elizabeth the wedge between the brothers is really too bad. She could see that Meghan was driving a stake through the heart of the relationship between her grandsons. What's truly astonishing is how these revelations vindicate everyone who's been telling the truth about Meghan for years. Royal correspondents like Dan Dutton, who reported on the Tiara Row and the Queen's concerns, were attacked mercilessly by the Sussex squad. They were called liars and racists. Turns out they were right all along. The mainstream media refused to report these stories properly. The royal correspondents who travel with the royals and depend on palace access stayed silent. Only independent journalists dared to tell the truth. And now we know they had it right from the beginning. This also explains that infamous photo from the wedding where the Queen looked absolutely miserable. People said we were reading too much into it, that she was just tired or the sun was in her eyes. No, she looked miserable because she was miserable. She had just been insulted by Harry, refused information by Meghan, and watched as they destroyed royal protocols for their wedding. Remember when Meghan told Oprah that the Queen had always been wonderful to her? Another lie exposed. The Queen was wonderful to Meghan publicly because that's what queens do, but privately she saw right through the act. She knew Meghan was trouble from the start. And what about Harry claiming in his book Spare that he had a special relationship with his grandmother, that they talked about things she couldn't discuss with anyone else? More fantasy from a man the Queen herself described as neither bright nor strong. The only special thing about their relationship was how badly Harry betrayed the woman who loved him. These revelations should end any talk of Harry and Meghan returning to royal duties. How can they show their faces knowing the Queen's true feelings have been exposed? How can they claim they were victims when the Queen herself believed Meghan engineered the whole relationship? The fact that Lady Elizabeth died in November 2020 before she could see the full destruction Harry and Meghan would cause makes this even more poignant. She passed away 8 months after Megxit, but before the Oprah interview where Meghan would accuse the royals of racism. One can only imagine what Lady Elizabeth would have said about those lies. What's remarkable is that neither the Queen nor Lady Elizabeth ever went public with these feelings while they were alive. They maintained their dignity and discretion even as Harry and Meghan trashed the institution they loved. It's only now through Sally Bedell Smith's careful journalism that we learn the truth. This should be the biggest royal story of the year, but watch how the mainstream media tries to bury it. They've invested too much in the Harry and Meghan victim narrative to admit they were wrong, but the independent media, the Substacks, the YouTube channels, the podcasts, that's where you'll get the real story. For those saying this is just hearsay or gossip, you need to understand who Lady Elizabeth Anson was. Born in Windsor Castle, educated at the finest schools, a working member of the royal household for over 60 years. She wasn't some peripheral figure. She was as inside as any insider could be. When she says the Queen told her something, you can take it to the bank. The implications of these revelations go far beyond just gossip. They rewrite the history of Harry and Meghan's relationship with the royal family. Every claim they've made about being welcomed with open arms, about the family failing to support them, about racism being the reason for their troubles, all of it crumbles in the face of the Queen's actual words. And let's talk about that word, engineered. The Queen didn't say Meghan fell in love with Harry. She didn't say it was a whirlwind romance. She said Meghan engineered it. That's the language you use for someone executing a plan, not falling in love. The Queen saw Meghan as a calculating operator from day one. This also puts Meghan's behavior in a new light. The constant PR campaigns, the staged paparazzi shots, the strategic leaks to favored journalists, the victim narratives, all of it fits the pattern of someone who engineered a relationship for fame and status, not love. For King Charles and Prince William, these revelations must be both validating and painful. They knew the Queen's true feelings but couldn't speak out while she was alive. Now they're free to act on what she really thought. Don't expect any reconciliation after this bombshell. Meanwhile, the Sussex squad is already in meltdown mode, trying to discredit Lady Elizabeth Anson and Sally Bedell Smith, but they can't escape the fact that this comes from the Queen's own mouth. Their hero Meghan has been exposed by the one person whose opinion matters most in the royal story. What happens next is anyone's guess. Will Harry and Meghan respond to these revelations? Will they try to deny the Queen's words or attack her memory? Or will they stay silent and hope this blows over? Given their track record, expect more victimhood and more attacks on the royal family. But one thing is certain, the mask has finally slipped. The truth about Meghan Markle that so many of us saw from the beginning has been confirmed by the highest authority possible. The Queen knew, she always knew. And now thanks to her trusted cousin speaking from beyond the grave, we all know too. This is why you need to subscribe to this channel. While the mainstream media spins and covers for Harry and Meghan, we bring you the unfiltered truth. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single revelation as this story continues to unfold. The Queen may be gone, but her truth lives on, and that truth is more explosive than anyone imagined. Meghan Markle, the woman who claimed to modernize the monarchy, has been exposed as exactly what her critics always said she was, a calculating actress who engineered her way into the royal family and destroyed it from within. The late Queen Elizabeth II deserved better than Harry and Meghan's betrayal, but at least now her real feelings are known. The record has been set straight, and the woman who devoted 70 years to serving her country has had the last word from beyond the grave.